Tanzania, a land of breathtaking landscapes, holds within its soil the secrets of our shared human story. Millions of years ago, long before recorded history, the region we now know as Tanzania was a cradle for early hominids. Discoveries at Laetoli, with its remarkable footprints preserved in volcanic ash, offer a glimpse into the lives of our distant ancestors who roamed these lands over 3.7 million years ago. Further north, the Olduvai Gorge, a deep ravine carved by time and erosion, reveals another chapter in human evolution. Here, the remains of, dating back around 1.8 million years, tell a tale of early toolmakers and their growing mastery over the environment. These groundbreaking discoveries solidify Tanzania's reputation as the cradle of humankind. These ancient ancestors, however, were not alone in shaping the destiny of this land. As millennia passed, successive waves of migrations brought new people, cultures, and technologies to what would one day be known as Tanzania. Around 1000 BC, the fertile lands of present-day Tanzania witnessed the arrival of pastoralist communities migrating southwards from the Ethiopian highlands, following the verdant pastures along the Great Rift Valley. These Nilotic groups, skilled in herding cattle and cultivating crops, established settlements, gradually shaping the cultural landscape. Between 500 and 100 BC, another wave of migration, this time from the Congo Basin, brought the knowledge of ironworking to the region. These Bantu-speaking peoples, migrating in search of new lands and opportunities, carried with them the skills to forge tools and weapons from iron, revolutionizing agriculture and warfare. The arrival of ironworking marked a turning point, allowing for more efficient farming and the creation of more durable tools and weapons. This technological advancement spurred population growth and the rise of more complex social structures, laying the groundwork for the vibrant tapestry of cultures that would define Tanzania in the centuries to come. As centuries unfolded, the eastern shores of Tanzania, caressed by the warm waters of the Indian Ocean, emerged as a vibrant hub of trade and cultural exchange. The rhythmic dance of the waves against the shore was more than just a natural phenomenon. It was a signal to seafarers and traders from distant lands, beckoning them to explore and engage with the rich resources and cultures that lay beyond the horizon. Drawn by the allure of spices, ivory, and gold, Arab merchants began to arrive around the 7th century AD, establishing trading posts along the coast. These traders were not just seeking wealth, they were also carriers of stories, traditions, and innovations from their homelands. The exchange was not merely transactional but also cultural, as they brought with them new ideas, technologies, and ways of life. These settlements, strategically located along the maritime trade routes, soon blossomed into bustling centers of commerce, connecting East Africa to the wider Indian Ocean world. The ports became melting pots of various cultures, where traders from Arabia, Persia, India, and even China would meet, exchange goods, and share knowledge. The marketplaces were alive with the sounds of haggling, the scents of exotic spices, and the vibrant colors of textiles and artifacts from across the seas. This interaction between Arab traders and the indigenous Bantu populations gave birth to a unique and vibrant culture, the Swahili. The Swahili culture was a blend of African roots and Arab influences, creating a rich tapestry of traditions, languages, and customs. The streets of Swahili towns were filled with the sounds of music, the aroma of diverse cuisines, and the sight of people dressed in traditional attire that reflected their blended heritage. A fusion of African and Arabic traditions, the Swahili language, a Bantu language enriched with Arabic loanwords, became the lingua franca of the coast, facilitating trade and communication across vast distances. This linguistic blend allowed for smoother interactions and negotiations, fostering a sense of unity and shared identity among the diverse communities along the coast. Swahili was not just a means of communication, it was a symbol of the cultural synthesis that defined the region. Islam, brought by the Arab traders, also found fertile ground along the Swahili coast, gradually becoming the dominant religion and further shaping the cultural identity of the region. The construction of mosques and the practice of Islamic traditions became integral parts of daily life, influencing everything from architecture to social customs. The call to prayer echoed through the towns, marking the rhythm of life and reinforcing the spiritual connection among the people. The rise of Kilwa Island off the coast of present-day Tanzania exemplifies the prosperity and cosmopolitan nature of the Swahili civilization. Kilwa became a beacon of wealth and culture, attracting traders and scholars from far and wide. Its strategic location and thriving economy made it a key player in the regional trade network, and its influence extended far beyond its shores. From the 11th century onwards, Kilwa flourished as a powerful city-state, ruled by wealthy merchants who amassed fortunes from the trade in gold, ivory, and slaves. These merchants were not just economic leaders, but also patrons of the arts and culture, commissioning grand buildings and supporting the development of literature, science, and education. Kilwa's markets were filled with goods from across the world, and its streets buzzed with the activity of traders, artisans, and scholars. Kilwa's grandeur, with its impressive stone mosques and palaces, stood as a testament to the wealth and sophistication of the Swahili civilization, a testament to the power of trade and cultural exchange in shaping the destiny of a region. The ruins that remain today are silent witnesses to a bygone era of prosperity and cultural richness, reminding us of the dynamic interplay of commerce, culture, and community that define the Swahili coast. The legacy of Kilwa and the Swahili civilization continues to inspire and inform the cultural landscape of East Africa, highlighting the enduring impact of these historical trade winds and cultural crossroads. Section 4. Colonial Shadows, the Scramble for Africa and its Impact. The dawn of the 19th century cast a long shadow over Africa, as European powers, driven by industrial ambitions and imperial desires, embarked on a ruthless competition for territory and resources, the scramble for Africa. This period, spanning from the late 1800s to the early 1900s, saw the continent of Africa being carved up like a pie, with little regard for the indigenous populations and their established cultures. The Berlin Conference of 1884 to 1885, often cited as the formal beginning of the scramble, saw European nations negotiating and formalizing their claims to African territories, setting the stage for decades of exploitation and conflict. Tanzania, with its strategic location and abundant resources, was not spared from this wave of colonization. The region, rich in minerals, fertile lands, and a coastline that provided access to the Indian Ocean, became a prime target for European powers. The arrival of European explorers and traders marked the beginning of a new era, one that would see the traditional ways of life in Tanzania irrevocably altered. In 1884, Germany laid claim to mainland Tanzania, incorporating it into their colonial empire as German East Africa. The German colonial administration quickly set about establishing control, building infrastructure such as railways and ports to facilitate the extraction and export of resources. The imposition of German rule was met with resistance from the local population, who found their lands and livelihoods increasingly encroached upon by the new colonial order. The German administration, focused on exploiting the region's resources, implemented policies that disrupted traditional ways of life and fueled resentment among the indigenous population. Forced labor, heavy taxation, and the introduction of cash crops such as cotton and sisal, which were grown at the expense of food crops, led to widespread hardship and discontent. The colonial authorities' disregard for local customs and governance structures further exacerbated tensions, setting the stage for conflict. The Maji Maji Rebellion, erupting in 1905, stands as a testament to the fierce resistance against German colonial rule. This uprising, which saw various ethnic groups in southern Tanzania unite against their oppressors, was driven by a combination of economic grievances and a deep-seated desire for autonomy. The rebellion was named after the belief in Maji, a sacred water that was thought to protect warriors from bullets, symbolizing the spiritual dimension of the resistance. Fueled by a potent mix of economic grievances and religious fervor, the Maji Maji uprising, named after the belief that a sacred water could protect them from bullets, spread like wildfire across southern Tanzania. The rebellion saw thousands of Tanzanians take up arms against the German forces, employing guerrilla tactics and leveraging their knowledge of the local terrain. Despite their bravery and determination, the rebels were ultimately outgunned and outmatched by the better-equipped German military. Although ultimately crushed by the superior firepower of the German forces, the Maji Maji Rebellion left an indelible mark on Tanzania's history, a symbol of resistance against oppression and a testament to the yearning for freedom. The brutal suppression of the rebellion, which resulted in the deaths of tens of thousands of Tanzanians, highlighted the lengths to which the colonial powers would go to maintain control. The legacy of the Maji Maji Rebellion continues to inspire subsequent generations in their struggles for justice and self-determination. World War I brought about a change in colonial hands, with Britain taking control of mainland Tanzania, which became known as Tanganyika under a League of Nations mandate. The transition from German to British rule marked a new chapter in the region's colonial history, but many of the underlying issues remained. The British administration continued to exploit Tanganyika's resources, focusing on the production of cash crops and the extraction of minerals, while maintaining a system of racial segregation that marginalized the African population. British rule, while less overtly brutal than the German administration, continued to exploit the region's resources and maintain a system of racial segregation that relegated Africans to second-class status. The colonial economy was structured to benefit the British metropole, with little regard for the welfare of the local population. This period saw the entrenchment of social and economic inequalities that would have lasting impacts on Tanganyika, shaping the struggles for independence and the post-colonial trajectory of the nation. Section 5. Freedom's Dawn, the Birth of a Nation. The decades following World War II witnessed a rising tide of nationalism sweeping across Africa. Colonized people, inspired by the ideals of self-determination and emboldened by the weakening grip of European powers, rose up to demand independence. This period was marked by a fervent desire to reclaim autonomy and dignity as African nations sought to break free from the shackles of colonialism. The spirit of resistance and the quest for freedom became a unifying force, transcending borders and ethnic divisions. Tanganyika, too, joined this chorus for freedom, with Julius Nyerere, a charismatic and visionary leader, emerging as the voice of the independence movement. Nyerere's eloquence and unwavering commitment to the cause galvanized the masses, inspiring hope and determination. His leadership was instrumental in uniting diverse groups under a common goal, fostering a sense of national identity and purpose. Nyerere, a schoolteacher deeply influenced by the principles of social justice and Pan-Africanism, understood that true liberation required not only political independence, but also economic emancipation and social equality. He believed that education was a powerful tool for empowerment and worked tirelessly to promote literacy and learning among his people. Nyerere's vision extended beyond mere political change. He sought to build a society where every individual had the opportunity to thrive. Under his leadership, the Tanganyika African National Union, or TANU, mobilized the population, demanding an end to colonial rule and a future where Tanganyikans would be masters of their own destiny. TANU's efforts were characterized by a blend of grassroots activism and strategic planning as they organized rallies, protests, and educational campaigns to raise awareness and build support for the independence movement. Through strategic negotiations and peaceful protests, TANU successfully pressured the British government to grant Tanganyika independence on December 9, 1961. This achievement was a testament to the power of non-violent resistance and the effectiveness of diplomatic engagement. The journey to independence was fraught with challenges, but the perseverance and resilience of the Tanganyikan people ultimately prevailed. This historic day marked the culmination of years of struggle and sacrifice as the green, black, and gold flag of Tanganyika was raised for the first time, symbolizing the birth of a nation. The celebrations were a poignant reminder of the collective effort and unwavering spirit that had brought about this momentous change. As Tanganyika stepped into a new era of self-governance, the hopes and dreams of its people were finally realized, setting the stage for a future filled with promise and potential.